Hi, bio students. I'm happy that you decided to do the review article option. I want to walk you through the starting place in your first assignment. So when you hear the word review article, it has that word review in it. And essentially what this is, this assignment is a look at kind of what's out in the field and kind of reviewing and analyzing and curating research that currently exists. So the main and fundamental purpose of writing a review is to create a readable synthesis, okay, so kind of bringing some interesting things together of the best resources available in the literature for an important research question or a current area of research. And your goal by the end of this project is to write a review article that will curate current research in the field of antibiotic discovery or antibiotic resistance. And there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this depending on your interest in the topic. So your first assignment is going to focus on problem tree analysis and trying to develop a really good couple research questions. So problem tree analysis, my slide will switch, there we go. Problem tree analysis is a way to kind of think about and kind of concept map. But it's a really interesting method of concept mapping that compares and thinks about causes and effects. So what you're going to do is to get a piece of paper out, okay? A blank piece of paper. It could be in your notebook. It could be if you're going to write on, you could do it on your computer. But what you want to do is you want to, in the center, write antibiotic resistance in bacteria, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take about 10 minutes and you're going to brainstorm some of the causes and effects related to antibiotic resistance in bacteria. This is called a tree because it has roots and branches. I denoted the roots with boxes. Okay, so you can go down from your idea, kind of building the roots, kind of what's causing this. And if you need to have multiple little roots coming off of your roots, that would be very tree-like. So just kind of put some topics down, and this is just kind of like basically think about what's in your brain and just dump it on the paper. And then you're also going to think about effects. Okay, so what is this affecting in the world that we live in? Okay, so what's causing it, and then what is this doing to the world that we live in? And just try to brainstorm as much as you can. Okay, I have like 4 roots and 4 branches with extra branches off of them. That would be probably the minimum. Try to come up with as much as you possibly can and kind of develop these ideas. If you want to even do a quick, after you've done your initial brainstorm, do a quick internet search and see if there's anything you can add to it. The goal is really just to kind of see the depth of information on this topic, so that way you can develop the best research question that is going to focus on this idea. So that's the first task. So please pause the video right now and do that. Take about 10 minutes, maybe 15, and really get a good understanding of this topic. If you feel like you want to look at your notes from class, that would be great. If you want to do a little bit of like an internet search to add on to this, you can do a quick internet search to kind of expand and think about what's going on with this big topic. More ideas on here is going to make writing questions easier. Okay, so pause your video now and try to do that. Okay, so hopefully you have taken the time to go through and do that tree analysis. And this is going to be really helpful for writing your questions and brainstorming questions. So the next task that you are going to work on today is to write 10 possible research questions using your problem tree analysis. So you should have some kind of causes and effects and kind of related to that, and some ideas that you can develop a little further. There's a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of different ways to write these questions, but the idea right now is to go for quantity, not quality. So write down whatever comes to your mind. Don't worry if it doesn't sound right, just dump it on the paper, okay? And you're going to take about maybe 10-15 minutes to do this, okay? And good research questions in science contain PICO, so they contain a problem, an intervention, an appropriate comparison, and an outcome. You may not use all of them. Some of them use only 3, and that's okay. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples to kind of think about as you're writing your questions. So one of my examples, to fight the growing threat of antibiotic resistance, okay, problem. What are the most effective drug programs or drug discovery programs to find novel antibiotics? Okay, so we're looking for most effective, okay, that would be an outcome measure to help with drug discovery, okay, of novel antibiotics, okay, which is going to be the intervention. I don't have a comparison for this one, and that's okay, okay, still a good question. And then my other example, do we find more antibiotic resistant infections from hospitals or from the agricultural industry? Okay, our problem, antibiotic resistance infections. Okay, more would be kind of my measure. And then I have a comparison here, hospitals or agricultural industry. Okay, problem being antibiotic resistance. Okay, so they're not perfect questions, but they're good to get started. Okay, and the goal for a research question is really just to drive your research. So the goal right now is quantity, not quality. Okay, so get as many down as you can. After that about 10-15 minute brainstorm session, then we'll try to limit down and find which ones are your best ones. So take a second, pause the video again, and write as many research questions as you can. Go back to your problem tree analysis. It lays out a lot of really interesting things that you brainstormed or did a little bit of preliminary internet search on. Okay, so hopefully you did that, and you've now written a whole bunch of research questions, at least 10. And this is the point when you're going to kind of refine a little bit. So I bet some of those questions aren't the best, and that's okay. The goal was quantity, not quality. Now the goal is going to be to pick the best ones, okay? And we're going to do 3 because you're going to do some research and then narrow down a little bit more to a final research question. So pick your top 3, okay? These should be things that you think you could answer. So questions are really great, but sometimes it's really hard to find data for them. So for example, my second one here, I would have to be able to find data from hospitals and something that's comparing the agricultural industry and be able to kind of collect data from those 2 sources. If I couldn't do that, then that question's not very answerable. I might be able to, I might not. I don't know yet. So pick the ones that you think would be the most answerable, and then we'll do some research and figure out which ones are the best ones to kind of drive your future review. And it's okay if this changes, okay? But what I would like you to do is get those top 3, something that's answerable, but also something that's kind of the most interesting to you that you would like to devote your time to. And then we'll do some preliminary research and narrow this down a little bit more. So your assignment for this is to send me a picture of your problem tree analysis and also to send me an email with your those 3 questions that you think are the best. I'd like to give you a little bit of feedback on your questions to kind of before you start doing some research next week. Next week at the end of the week, you are going to be doing some preliminary research and seeing what you find on some research databases. So that's all. If you have any individual questions, send me an email. We can set up a meeting. I'm really excited that you guys decided to do the review article. It's an important science skill. Research is really important, but also reviewing the work of others is extremely important as well. And so you're going to develop some great skills working on this review article. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I look forward to reading your questions.